guys, I just wanted to go through a few things with the truck. The main thing would be tips for anyone thinking of doing a project like this, no matter what kind of body you're putting onto a truck like this. This is my little Isuzu tipper, 250 crew cab, and it's going to have a Gypsy motorhome built onto the back of it. And to get around everything legally, if I modify anything on the truck, I'd need an engineer certificate to say, yes, that modification to the truck is legal, all that kind of thing. So the first tip I can give is don't modify the truck. If you buy a truck, to put a different body on it than what's already on there, for an example, a camper van, or you're building your own camper van like I am, don't modify the truck. You can take off, say, all this gear, take off the back tray, the sides. They're a lot of weight and I don't need them. But don't come in cutting away at anything, as you might end up in a lot of trouble out of it. Originally I was going to cut some of the actual chassis to be able to lift this tray on and off, because the biggest tip is, when you're building something like this, if you bolt it all onto the chassis, and like I said, do any modifications, you can wind up in big trouble. Vic roads, those, whoever, whatever state you're in, Vic roads, say in this state, have a lot of cars running around pulling trucks up to weigh them, to make sure they're not overloaded, to make sure that they're doing the right thing and that they're not modified. So having a truck like this and wanting to build a Gypsy caravan on the back, for example, which would be 3.5 metres tall by 5.5 metres long, and adding it to this truck, I can do it with weight. I can put a couple of tons on this truck, so the weight's not a problem. But in theory, it'd be really nice to be able to modify, like to really cut into what's already here, to lose some more weight, and just to basically do exactly what I want to do to it, with heights and all different things. But after looking into what needs to be done and how to do it, I'm not going to modify the truck at all. You could take the tray off, but again, this one's registered as a tipper, and it says so on the compliance plate. So I cover the compliance plate in another part of the video. But so really, if I get pulled over by, say, Vic Roads or police or anyone, and they're a bit wary, I look like I'm doing something a bit too different. For example, having a Gypsy looking, wagon on the back of this truck, they're going to go over it. And the main thing you need to know is what's legal and what's not. So a lot of people who build tiny houses in Australia and that kind of thing, they're quite put off by all the restrictions. You legally can't even park a caravan in your yard. You can't put a tiny house in your yard. They want you to buy a McMansion and be in debt for the rest of your life, the typical scenario. So trying to get around it and trying to make tiny houses, or even tiny houses on wheels, which this one will be, it gets pretty tricky, but you can keep it very simple by, again, don't modify. Everything that you build to it should slide on and slide off. So the build that I'm doing will do exactly that. We'll lose this. I will actually cut a bit of the tray out, because it's only tray, it doesn't matter, it's not a part of the chassis or a part of the actual system of the truck. But basically I'll lose a lot of the sides and whatnot, and when I make the build, it's going to be a separate entity to the truck, and it will literally have arms that will slide out from the side, say, and these arms will then be able to be put into the ground, and I'll be able to lift the van up using hydraulics. There's a few ways to do that, but my way will be quite simple hydraulics. I'll be able to lift the Gypsy body off and drive the truck out, which is convenient for a few reasons. If the truck blows up, I want to be able to get my camper off the back of it and put it on another truck. Vice versa, something goes wrong with the actual body, gets damaged, and I need to use the truck without it, I can, in 5 minutes, have the whole back of the body off the truck and still have a truck with a tray, with the back there. It won't have any sides and back, but they're not a legal requirement, they're just an add-on. So I won't bother pulling it off right now, but you can undo the trays, and they're not a fixed part. You can see the hinging's all made temporary, so they can be removed. So totally legal for me to remove the sides to add my what I want to add to it. But I don't go messing with the actual chassis of the truck. That'd be a big no-no. So main tip is there, don't modify trucks if you're going to do this kind of thing. Leave it alone. And the easiest way to get around all the laws to do with changing bodies, and especially tiny house laws, tiny houses on wheels, is to have it so it slides on and slides off. make it so it very easily can be removed from your truck. You can still bolt it down, but as long as all you've got to do is unbolt a few bolts, that's fine. You know, a couple of minutes and you'll have the back off, and you know, you'll be safe.